We watched the King at his coronation, and here comes the new Prime Minister. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom making his way to the challenges that lie ahead with the authority given to him by the King. What we have witnessed at Buckingham Palace has been the head of state, His Majesty the King, taking from Rishi Sunak the authority of head of government and passing it in reflection of the nation's choice at the first general election of his reign to Sir Keir Starmer, who carries that forward. It has been a constitutional pause where the King has given effect to the national choice.
An already sceptical electorate, but you cannot take away from him this resounding victory, this historic victory in this landmark election, that whatever he does with it will go down in the history books of one of the biggest wins in post-war Britain. And that's why these people are here today, because they actually want to take it in. They want to celebrate it. The Labour Party and their activists haven't really enjoyed a moment like this since 1997, when Tony Blair won that famous landslide with New Labour. He is unusual in that there haven't been a string of prime ministers that have walked through the doors of Downing Street that came from a background like his.
We are watching the door of number 10. Keir Starmer today becoming the 58th Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Just 6 of his predecessors had been Labour politicians, so this does not happen often. You can see there Sir Keir Starmer and his wife Victoria holding hands and getting back into that car. They're leaving Admiralty House. They're back in the car.
Yeah, we're going to have him here shortly. And as you said, he's only the 7th Labour Prime Minister. He's won an absolutely astounding majority. He's crushed his opponents. He always said to me he was ruthless, and he really is. They ran a strategy to target marginal seats, not to pile up votes in seats where Labour were already winning, and they have executed this with absolute precision. He has not got a huge vote share. He's got nothing like the vote share that Tony Blair won in 1997. But he has also perhaps been the beneficiary of tactical voting. The cheers are up. I think the car is coming in. Keir Starmer's coming in.
you. Good afternoon. I have just returned from Buckingham Palace, where I accepted an invitation from His Majesty the King to form the next government of this great nation. Now our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal, and a return of politics to public service. When the gap between the sacrifices made by people and the service they receive from politicians grows this big, it leads to a weariness in the heart of a nation, a draining away of the hope, the spirit, the belief in a better future, that we need to move forward together. Now, this wound, this lack of trust, can only be healed by actions, not words. I know that. But we can make a start today with the simple acknowledgement that public service is a privilege and that your government should treat every single person in this country with respect. If you voted Labour yesterday, we will carry the responsibility of your trust as we rebuild our country. But whether you voted Labour or not, in fact, especially if you did not, I say to you directly, my government will serve you. Politics can be a force for good. We will show that. We've changed the Labour Party, returned it to service, and that is how we will govern. Country first, party second. Yet, if I'm honest, service is merely a precondition of hope, and it is surely clear to everyone that our country needs a bigger reset, a rediscovery of who we are, because no matter how fierce the storms of history, one of the great strengths of this nation has always been our ability to navigate a way to calmer waters, that we will rebuild Britain with wealth created in every community, our NHS back on its feet facing the future, secure borders, safer streets, everyone treated with dignity and respect at work, the opportunity of clean British power cutting your energy bills for good. And brick by brick, we will rebuild the infrastructure of opportunity and unite our country. I invite you all to join this government of service in the mission of national renewal. Our work is urgent, and we begin it today. Thank you very much.
And there we have it, the very first speech of our new Prime Minister, the man with a mandate, all 412 seats of it, setting out his vision of politics as public service. He's brought his party back from the brink. The question now is, can he do the same with the country? Will it be a new dawn breaking or a brief pause in the rain? First person to enter the number 10 door to meet with the new Prime Minister was this woman, Angela Rayner. She has been appointed as the Secretary of State for Levelling Up Housing and Communities. She's also, of course, the Deputy Prime Minister, which means she has her own mandate, an extraordinary rise for Angela Rayner there. Rachel Reeves meanwhile, the second person in, she's become the UK's first ever female Chancellor in the 803-year history of that role. The first time a woman has been given that job. David Lammy confirmed as the Foreign Secretary. We saw him there just entering his new office, the resplendent building of the Foreign Office, absolutely beaming, clearly delighted. Pat McFadden, the new Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, a key campaigning figure in Labour, often described as the most influential politician you've never heard of and expected to be a key part of the decision-making team in Number 10. Yvette Cooper has been appointed as the Home Secretary. She has kept the job that she was shadowing. She has ministerial experience, of course, in the new Labour government. She is now the Home Secretary. John Healey, meanwhile, has been appointed as the Secretary of State for Defence. Again, all of these straight transfers over from the shadow cabinet.
Here we have a leader since 2020, have chosen him to be the United Kingdom's Prime Minister, but he needs to show what kind of Prime Minister he is, what his mettle is made of, how he will govern after a campaign that gave us some clues, but with this scale of a majority, this scale of ability and political flexibility to take the country where he wants. People now want to know what that looks like.